Simply Lesa, like I'm somebody. Well, I'm not nobody. Oh. I don't know how this is going to go today. So if it starts scrolling a lot, buffering, whatever, we will make decisions as we go along. It's how I have to do things in my life. But I learned something that helped with the signal. And I can't see the signal, but I can see the live timer. And when I'm looking at the live timer, it says we've been on for almost a minute. So, yay. Good morning, um, Tiny, George, and Tammy. Good morning, Iris, and good morning, Catherine. Y'all say good morning to each other. Please, let's get this out of the way before I forget it later. Pray for each other. Um, share each other's needs and whatever, and help each other out however you can. And sometimes all we can do is pray. I am so grateful, George and Tammy with Tiny, that you were able to find somebody to go help. I think the guy's name was Gary. And you found a guy who was able to drive the 4.5 hours in the dark to go help this guy. That was fabulous. I have shared his information and subscribed to some of his stuff to try to, one, help him out, and two, um, just learn more about who he is because of the way he put out his efforts. So, um, whew. So some of you who are members, Catherine's a member, and Catherine's been a member quite a long time, so I think she has a different badge by her name because of that. Um, but members got some messages this week so that you know exactly where I'm at. And obviously, you're seeing the cabin, so here I am. And you know that the tracker is being worked on. It had a steering problem, and a steering problem with a part that is no longer available, which made me have that momentary hiccup of, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? Because if we can't find the part, what good is my cool tracker that I've put all this money into? So, starting off with a little concern, leaving my tracker down in St. John's and having to get a ride home, which means I also don't have my refrigerator. All of that has been beyond challenging. And then I got sick. And I mean sick. Like, I was asking God, is this the time is it time for me to go? Like, sick. With no good explanation for why. And enough so that, yes, I cried. Yes, talking about it was hard. I feel like the cabin's kind of messy. Well, it is kind of messy. Um, I have a lot of half finished things outdoors. I really need to take care of my composting buckets. Um, I put a post out on the, not the Lion Diet, but the other sister uh, group. I think it's called Don't Eat That. It's by Michaela Peterson. And in that group, people talk about their diets. And I was talking about how I was surprised that I felt like I was either gaining weight all of a sudden or I had just like blown up like a balloon. It felt like I gained 50 pounds overnight, a couple nights, a few nights back this week. And I see me, I feel puffy, my joints are stiff. Um, my arm has locked up on me in odd. positions for about 25 minutes at a time. I was taking a nap the other day, and some of you know I don't nap well. Um, I don't rest well. But anyway, taking a nap, and I woke up when my arm was frozen and it hit the wall. Like it's like spasming or something. That's scary stuff. And it makes me wonder how much longer I could keep doing the things that I want to do, or whether this is just an odd thing that happened. You know, who knows? And I'm going to try not to cry through this whole thing. To hold my cell phone on. Hi, Jules. Hi, anybody new that came in that I missed. Um, um, so I learned something again, or relearned something by watching a couple of YouTube videos. I found that I found that antennas in cell phones and things like WeBoost, just as kind of a simple explanation. Technomadia talked about it in a video a while back, but they were talking about how antennas are like ears and how cell phones used to only have one antenna inside of them. And they used to actually have a port that was antenna based. And so you could have, at, years ago, I knew people who did this up in Maine years ago. You could plug in a wire into the antenna port and you could run an antenna outside of a house in Maine and you could pull in a signal. Well, now cell phones don't have that generally. Now there are a few cell phones that there's a there's a cedar net. Um, there are few cell phones out there in the world that still have the headphone jack that is an antenna, because they allow the phone to have FM service so that you could use the phone as a radio, as an FM radio. The United States doesn't love us to have those in the United States. So I happen to have a phone that has that. And what happens is your headphones is the antenna. So if you can hook it by a wire to a Bluetooth speaker or an external speaker, your wire becomes the antenna. So I've done that many times with this phone. Anyway, um, but new cell phones, and including the one I have, they have four antennas in them. And so when you put these on a WeBoost, the WeBoost shuts off three of the little antennas and concentrates on one antenna signal. And it amplifies everything from that antenna signal toward whatever you've pointed the WeBoost at, trying to grab a signal and get it stronger. So when I come to the cabin, I had been just automatically putting the phone on my WeBoost. So once I watched that video and remembered that stuff, I said, you know what? Let's try just taking it off the WeBoost and see if the four directional antennas inside the cell phone can grab a signal better. And it worked. Now I have to stay away from the steel doors on the cabin and the window frames that are metal, and can't be too close to the ceiling because the roof is metal. So I found a couple of spots where it works kind of okay. And so I've had better service, but it's still sketchy. And I can't afford Starlink. I don't have $150 a month. I'm not as debt free as I love to be. Y'all know that that's a favorite of mine, to live debt free. But I actually am paying off a $250 a month payment on a loan that has been all car repairs from the last three vehicles. And yeah, and it's right around $5,000, which I do not want anymore, can't afford anymore, want this gone, will eventually have it gone, but um, it's been partly being able to buy the tracker and partly paying off some of the initial cost of having the initial work done, and then installing more stuff last year. Um, it's but also it was the Cherokee and the minivan, and I'm so done. I just want that gone so I can have that money back every month. But eventually it will be gone. It's just a matter of consistently sticking with it, paying it off. Um, and yes, when I now get $1,000 a month, and yes, 250 out of 1,000 is 750 if I did it right. I never feel like math is my best thing. So if I said that wrong, correct me. But anyway, uh, so basically living on $750 a month. And that includes insurance on the vehicle, which has gone up to $60 a month now, and one subscription that's $5. And I just canceled my Overland Bound subscription because I can't afford it, even though it's $50 a year or something. And I just said, forget it. Um, I don't think I have any other subscriptions. I would like to purchase Onyx Off Road for mapping, but if I can't, I won't. They had a sale over Memorial Day, but my card wasn't working, so I couldn't purchase it during the sale when it was $20 for a year. And so, anyways, that's or $20 period, whatever it was. But I can't. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I didn't have my card. My cards are fixed. I now have not only my bank card, well, credit union card, which is a debit card, but I also have a Cash App card, and my PayPal's still working. So let's see, that's that stuff. Um, I feel like I'm just catching you up because I was still feeling really badly yesterday, and I'm better today. But I'm concerned about. I'm going to give you guys energy, but I'm concerned about using too much energy and not be not getting better. So I'm going to pace myself with things I do later in the day. I want to go take a shower, but in order to take a shower, even though we rebuilt the bathroom and the shower, how cool is that? The door fell apart. It was a louvered door that used to be on a closet, and all the louvers fell out the other day. So now that's a glue and screw, and I can't handle it right now. So I've just set the parts aside. And then I went in this morning to use the bathroom, and the rats have started to be inside. So I have to fix that so that the rats are uncomfortable as much as I can. And there's only so much I can do. I don't have a cat. And so, but more, okay. And I was saying why I want to take a shower, but I haven't done it. Um, I went to get water out of my water tank the other day, out of the IBC tote. The connector I bought that cost me $20 shouldn't have cost $20, but it's all I could find close by. It's $20. I thought it was all a threaded thing. So I screwed it on, and I just, opened the thing, and I have a little brass hose connector thing on it, and I can swap and put on an RV water filter thing. Well, I went to open the valve on it the other day, and it all blew apart. Now I got gushed with water. I lost quite a few gallons, not crazy amount because I turned it right off. But in order to fill my solar shower, I have to fix that somehow. And what I realized is I thought it was all threaded. It's not threaded. And I don't have any pipe dope glue. And so I don't know how I'm fixing that right now. So getting the water into a solar shower bag right now is a little bit of a pain in the butt. And my other water tank, the water port, is on the back of the tracker down in town. And If I had known I was leaving the tracker in town, I would have pulled the water port off and I would have pulled the refrigerator out and my other battery pack. I'm okay. But lots of stuff has run through my mind because it's all a pain in the butt right now. And so I really need to work with my composting buckets, toilets. I need to empty those. I need to fix that. But I wasn't strong enough to even lift them yesterday. And the wheels are bad on my wagon. And so someday when I'm coming back home and I'm going past a Harbor Freight, I should pick up a set of wheels for that wagon because they're shredded. They're bad. I mean, they're so old and they've been in the sun. So, and I was starting to reorganize the stuff that came out of and from around what's now the newly rebuilt bathroom. We're starting to organize that, and it's kind of messy where it is, which anything messy calls the rats. So, because they're hunting for a new place for a home. And so I'm just like, okay, I can only do so much. And I'm tired and I don't feel really good. And so do this much, but don't do that much. And luckily, my closest neighbors who were able to come get me in St. John's so that I could leave the tracker, they were able to run me for groceries. But I made a big mistake the day of leaving the tracker because as we were starting to drive home, I went, oh crap, I don't have any food. I mean, like, I have nothing. I didn't have coffee. All I had was water. I didn't have coffee. I didn't have honey. I didn't have anything. And so, and like when you're only eating meat, it's hard to have anything in a can or anything that sits for a long period of time. And so, didn't have any jerky. I didn't have any anything. So, so I asked them if they could stop at a store. Well, the only store in St. John's basically that's reasonable is Dollar General. And I thought I'd run in Dollar General and buy a bunch of ground beef, even though I hate it. I mean, I actually vomit with ground beef now. I don't know what that's about. But um, so I thought I could do that. And I got to Dollar General and they didn't have any. They had nothing that was real meat. And so I'm just like, oh crap, I got to have something. I can't be at home for, who knows? It might be a week, but I can't be here with no food. So without thinking very carefully, I grabbed the only thing I could find, which was all beef hot dogs and an all beef sausage, because I figured they could keep without a refrigerator. But I forgot that there's junk in them and junk that I'm allergic to. And that might be why I was so sick because I ate them and I shouldn't have. But anyway, so then when the neighbor said that they were going to a grocery store, I said, please, can I go? Please. And so I went and I bought one big roast and a block of ice that I could cut up. And now the next time I cook that, that will be the end of what I have for food again. Well, I shouldn't say it exactly like that. I also bought 4 of these packets of, I think it's Hefford, is selling shredded beef in a package. And it only has the beef, salt, and I think it said beef broth, but that's all that's in it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm buying 6 of those just in case. So I figured if it comes right down to it, I can eat one of those packages a day and get by. It's not perfect, but it's better than not having anything. So, and I took a package yesterday and put it in water. I boiled it so that I had like a beef broth. And when I was feeling bad, that was kind of nice. But I got to cook up the other stuff before the ice melts. And I got some club soda and a little bit of Pellegrino. But Pellegrino's more expensive, and I've been trying, and in plastic bottles now, and it's just so much trash to deal with. I was trying to get away from that. Anyway, so that's that. These are all just details. This is not giving you anything fun about my adventures right now. Um, so I have not, Shadow Wolf, I think I saw your name. I have not uh, used the camera yet, GoPro yet. I turned it on. I found the SD card, but I've been sick, so I haven't played with it. But it's here and whatever. So, yeah, what went in, I never, the things we learn, the mechanical things we learn over time. Um, I never heard of a thing called a rag joint. Why would I have heard of it? And evidently, a rag joint is a slang name for something else. So it's also a knuckle joint or something for your steering. And so on Suzuki's, they're a specialized thing. They're not like interchangeable on everything. Um, oh, whoever just said that about apartments, you're gonna make me cry. Okay. No, I don't. Do I sometimes wonder? Sure. But when I'm feeling good, I'm great. Okay. Don't don't put me in a home before I have to be there, okay? I'm not done. All the things I've done and all the work, all the hard work that I have done to be healthier and to have a life. I don't want anybody taking that away from me yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not giving up. And that's what the title of this was all about. You just simply keep trying. Now, yeah, laying in bed being sick yesterday. Oh, yeah, I was talking to God about when do I have to give up. Yeah, but don't make me yet, okay? I'm not ready yet. So, okay, let me try to. Don't you think I'd be better off living in an apartment? That's all I saw. No, I don't. Because think about all the stuff I'm allergic to in apartments. When I lived in an apartment in New York City, that's the last time I was in an apartment. I think that's right. Anyway, yeah, I think that's right. That was the last time. I was allergic to every once a month when the management would spray the apartments with bug spray. I was allergic to the bug spray. Every time the neighbor put their smelly stuff into their electric outlets and it oozed through my wall, I was allergic to the smell of their smelly stuff to make their apartment smell good. I was allergic to the the filtered air thing that they had put in my apartment um to make it a section 8 apartment and legal in the county. um I was allergic to the carpet. I was allergic to the it was no, I don't think it would be better to be in an apartment. I think I'd be really sick. I would probably just give up. And we can give up. But I'm not ready to yet. Okay. And really, I have this lovely place out here. Do I think somebody might ought to be closer to me? I think about that a lot lately, especially with this thing with my arm locking up. It's scary, but I'm not sure how that looks yet. I don't want to be alone. I miss Ozzy. I wish I had a dog. It was really nice when Donnie came to visit this
a week ago. It was nice that somebody else was here. I don't want to be alone anymore. I don't like this alone stuff so much. Okay. Okay. So the apartment comment got me. So whoever that was, I'll look it up later because I don't want to look at it again. But okay, let's see. So so the rag joint or knuckle joint or whatever. It's like a big washer, but it's made out of some kind of it's in mine I don't think it's rubber. It's like a plasticky kind of stuff. It just was pointed out to me, but that was it. And mine has each vehicle has different pattern of holes in this thing. And it's like a spacer or a washer or something that's in your steering column. And the holes are specific to allow certain things to move without rubbing metal on metal or something of that. Some of you mechanics can chime in and explain it better. But and I'm putting my hand like this. I don't know if it's this big, but it feels a couple of inches across or something. Anyways, I found pictures of them online, but they don't make them for trackers anymore or for any of the Suzukis. They make them for Samurais, but they don't make them for any of the other Suzukis anymore. So, a couple of weeks ago, I had been camping up on the Mogollon Rim with the Zuki Palooza people. So I was with a bunch of Suzuki mechanics. And so I contacted them right away and I was like, guys, evidently so what has gone wrong with mine is the hole has become what they call hollowed out or wallowed out, right? It has had so much movement in the hole that the hole's the wrong size now. And so it's too big and it's sloppy, which makes my steering sloppy, which is why when I go over a bump, it feels like the steering wheel's being yanked out of my hand. But it also allows something in the wheels to do something different. Anyways, when the mechanic test drove, I didn't tell him what I was feeling. I just handed him my keys and said, I'm a little tired. And so I might be being hypersensitive. Will you just test drive my tracker? And he came back and he said to one of the other mechanics, would you see if something's broken underneath in her driver's wheel? He was like, something feels broken. That was what he said. And I had said the same thing. I feel like something's broken. And that's the part that affected it so greatly is this thing called a rag joint or a knuckle joint or something. So I contacted the guys that I knew from the Zuki Palooza. One of them had two, and he needed one because he's preparing one of his Zukis for his granddaughter's first car. And he said, but I'll send the other one, but I need to talk to the mechanic. I want to make sure he doesn't need more parts because I got the whole steering thing. And he goes, I'd have to find a box to send everything, or you'd have to wait 2.5 weeks for me to come to Sholo. And I was like, but I'm supposed to be in Oregon, like soon to teach a class. So then I got home because the conversation was kind of stalled. So I got home and I didn't know my phone wasn't running. And so when I finally got hold of the guys piecemeal through text, I shared the phone numbers with both of them, but neither one of them contacted the other one. So there was 3 days lost. And then when they finally got a hold of each other, well, no, they didn't. I did. Once I figured out the signal thing and I got more signal, I called and I talked to the one and he said, find out if he needs more. He says, because usually when that's gone, there's more stuff that needs fixing. And I was like, well, I tried to get him to talk to you, but what can I do? So I got to talk to Stan and Stan says, no, Lesa, only the rag joint. Everything else looks really good. So if he could send that, have him send it to the shop. And I was like, my cell phone signal's horrible, Stan. I made this phone call while I was on the way to the grocery store with the neighbor. That's what happened. That's how that happened. So and Stan said, okay, just use the shop address, have him send just the rag joint piece, just that spacer thing. He says that can go in an envelope, have him priority mail it from the post office. I was like, okay, no problem. And so I called Ron back. Ron's the buddy. He said, okay, no problem, because he's closer to Prescott. Anyways, he's quite a ways away, 3.5 hours, something like that away. And of course, I can't go get it. My car's down. So, so Ron said he would put it in an envelope, but he didn't know if he could get it in Friday or if it would be Monday before he could get it in. So I'm going to be without the car for a while longer. And yeah, there will come a time when I will have to ask the neighbors to at least take me up to Sanders, darn. Okay, and I'm saying darn Sanders to Bash's, darn, because Bash's is where the butcher was bad to me. But if I need meat, I will just never ask to have help from the butcher because I understand they didn't fire the guy. That doesn't feel good. But having somebody lose their job doesn't feel good either. I wish he could learn his lesson and just not do that to somebody. It was kind of not cool what happened with the butcher shop. So anyway, so it's Sunday. I've been sick. Well, of course, that wasted some time, right? Being sick wasted some time. But I need to water the garden in the greenhouse only because I put some plants in there and I can't get the water there from there yet. I just feel like there's so many things just outside of my control right now, and I wish I could have some help here, but I don't know who to ask. And some people couldn't get their rig up in here yet. And then the closest neighbor is so busy working on some roads out here because they finally got the okay and all the instructions from the county on how to improve the roads to a stage where they can have a big delivery. They're having um, uh, pre-made cabins delivered soon. And so um, there's a lot of stuff happening down the road. And and yet I'm okay. If I had the gutters on the cabin already, which I can't see that happening until next year, but when the gutters are on, then the gutters will be run to the IBC tote, and I'm hoping to have 2 more IBC totes, and then that will be the rain catchment, and I don't have to worry about water getting delivered. But right now, I've got 3/4 of an IBC tote full of water, but I'm having trouble getting it out because of the thing that blew up. Sometimes it happens like this. Crap comes in threes, and you just pray about it and you keep moving on. And I don't know. So the last couple of days. Oh yeah, and I don't have the alcohol fuel from my little alcohol stoves for in the house. So I'm using I could probably show you this. Well, let's see. If I hit the button for Kindling box, I see which I need to fill, but anyways, I try to keep Kindle in it. But right here's my little red table and my Kelly kettle, which when I have the wood here in the morning, when I've planned ahead, I just put the Kelly kettle on and boil water. And then I can put the hobo stove part on top of that. And if I have my meat in a piece of tin foil, aluminum foil, I can just put the aluminum foil packet on top of the hobo stove and just let it cook and just flip it over once. And that's real simple when you don't feel good. And then that's my fire pit with the new stuff that Pixie gave me that she found at a thrift store. And so This morning I sat over there with a fire because I didn't feel good. And yesterday I sat over there with a fire rather than do the Kelly kettle. And like I have stuff unfinished up here to take care of. The extra sheets of siding, there's a few sheets of thin T111 that are extra leftovers. Better off in an apartment. Oh, are we back? I know it was buffering again. So I thought I'd move over here. So the Tausie's cactus garden over in the corner. And then the greenhouse, you can't quite see it from here, but I don't know. Since we got a connection, I don't want to screw with things too much. So I'm just going to turn the camera back around if it'll do it. There we go. And I'll sit here for a while. I'm in the rocking chair. Oh, so I don't know. So when things get rough, I've just learned to just keep going. Look how yeah. I feel like my face is swollen and I'm tired. I mean, I'm kind of not feeling good. Okay, I don't know what else has been being said. Do you guys have questions today that would help me to give you something? Uh, do I have solar for the cabin? Um, sort of, kind of. Let's see. Let me turn this back around. Can you see? I can see that we're still on. Up over the top of the pergola. That's the Wii Boost antenna, okay? But do you see that shadow? That's the bottom power. It's a 70 watt. This solar pendant light has its own solar panel. I like to keep things separate as much as I can because I separate like that. If one thing fails, I'm especially with lights and being so far from other people that if one fails, not everything has all failed at the same time. So especially with lights, I like to have my solar lights on separate things. So do I have solar? That 70-watt panel has a barrel plug on the end, and it's run through one of my windows into a 166-watt battery pack that Bob Wells gave me years ago. It was a Bowden set. I'm saying 4 or 5 years ago. And so making the mistake of leaving the Rock Pals 300-watt thing in the tracker, at least I have that, so I can keep the cell phone charged. Okay, but that's yeah. So technically, I can keep my cell phone running. Um, I don't need a lot of power. It's really only lights and the cell phone and then the refrigerator. But the refrigerator being in the car, that's why I got that Cascadia system for the tracker, so that it runs and runs fantastically off the tracker. And so when I bring it home here to the cabin, I can remove the refrigerator from the tracker and the 300-watt Rock Pals, and I can bring them inside and hook the Rock Pals up to that solar panel, and it will run just about as good. I have a little trouble with the Rock Pals shutting off when the compressor is off on the fridge. And I found that if I did a certain thing, I think the answer to keeping that always plugged in good is to change the plug on the refrigerator to an Anderson plug, so I can change from a 12-volt male plug to a I think it's 8 millimeter barrel plug for the rock pals. That would solve some of that. But anyway, so that's the answer to the solar here. Let's see what else is in these messages. Um, oh, I thank you so much, Iris. I have done. You could take me shopping, Mojave. Talk to me. I think you have my phone number and you could text me. Talk to me because tomorrow I will be out of actual beef. I would have to eat those packages that I thought I ought to leave here as an emergency thing. Um, I am supposed to go to Overland East. So I so for sure am hoping that everything is fine with the tracker. But with all these guys I met at Zuki Palooza, um, they have parts and they're all very good mechanics. So if there's more wrong, I'm sure we can get it fixed. I don't want to have to cancel Oregon, but if I have to, I will. Um, next week. Mojave, I won't be able to meet you at the farmer's market. I will probably have to give you directions on how to get here to my place because I have no vehicle right now and it'll be a little bit. Um, to finally leave the apartment you've been stuck in for 2.5 years and get back on the road. Oh, Jules, I understand. And you're right. Sometimes the transitions from apartments to other things are really hard. A lot more time to go and many more travels and adventures are in the future. And I and others can't wait to see them. And oh, thank you, Shadow Wolf. And I agree with you. I know I'm not done. If I was done, I could have, told God to take me in the night the other night when I was feeling so bad. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, just come on. We get sick, right? And I ate those freaking hot dogs, which probably had corn syrup in them. And I'm really allergic to corn syrup. Like sometimes sometimes I've known in my life that's a call the ambulance thing. But, you know, it's the way it is. So, okay, I'm trying to go back through your messages. Yeah. So, uh, yeah, I see that you guys are. Thanks for filling in. Yeah, the rats. I know how to keep them out, um, and I know how to make them move away. But it's a little bit of an issue, and I loaned my closest neighbors all my rat traps. So I don't have any rat traps per se. I have buckets for traps. But and I don't have any cats right now, and the cats would really help, but whatever. Okay. So you saw me buffering, and that was back to the beginning. And so y'all know doing this on a budget, okay? Um, you're not working for the summer. Tuesday, you're going to Stan's for an oil change. Okay. Monday's free, Wednesday, etc. Okay. I might like Monday, but it's up to you. And I'll go where you want to go. But we'll talk, okay? And I'm so grateful that you could do that. Oh, you're welcome for showing you the cabin. And yes, I have been doing a lot of work. And so, really, probably having a couple of days of rest is probably not a bad thing. It's too bad I have to get sick to rest, right? Kind of sucks. But another blessing is that another really close friend has offered to help pay for some of this work I'm getting done on the car. I don't know how much this is going to cost because I also need brake pads and I had an oil leak. So brake pads and oil leak and the steering thing. Yeah, all of those things were a thing. Oh, I just noticed. Can I show you this? Let's see if I can get a picture. Oh, I bumped it and it made the bird fly away. Right? Can I? I can't remember if I can zoom in. I guess not. I guess I can't zoom in. But right above, whoops, where's my finger? Way over there. Right above my finger, my dirty fingernail, right up in there, that thing is a bird waterer. So it's like a bird feeder, but you put water in it. And I just noticed that a couple of the birds came over for the water and it's getting low. So later I'll be filling that. And I do feed the birds. I really enjoy watching them. The bird feeder, let's see, where's my finger? Getting your finger in a camera like this. The bird feeder's right in there somewhere. I can't see it. But I couldn't make the camera zoom for you, or I would have zoomed it. All right, what else is going on down here? Oh, I love this place, and some of you all are going to learn soon because I'm trying to decide how to carefully do this. I used to have 10-day camping get-togethers in the spring and in the fall on my property. And I had some bad experiences with people because, I mean, come on, I've been at this for a long freaking ass time. And whoops. And I've been on this property for going on 12 years, but I didn't own it that long. It belonged to a friend, and then over time, excuse me, over time I did barter purchase to buy and split half of the land and have the survey done and stuff like that. And I cleaned up some of his old mess. And so that's how I was able to get this property. And it is incredible. And Donnie was here. Donnie had never been here before. I'm drinking mineral water. And I had a big bottle. I didn't want to advertise the big bottle. Anyway, so when Donnie got here and we started talking, and I was like, oh, that's the old fire pit where when I would have get-togethers. You had get-togethers? I didn't know about those. And I was like, well, I put them out to the whole nomad world back in the day, and he didn't know about them. And he was like, well, why don't you do it again? And I said, well, after what I've been through, nobody's squatting on my land or trashing it on me like they did before. No. So he's like, well, pick and choose. Well, I'd already been thinking about this. So there is some pick and choose thoughts I'm having about allowing some people to come here in a group situation to camp again, but limiting how many people. And maybe it becomes a raffle. I don't know. Maybe it becomes I don't know what, let's see who wins this trip to come and see if I could help, or I don't know what. It's a loose idea. And it's sort of like the idea of me doing a camp together thing around the RTR time where I can help some newbies. And some of you will be the newbies, and we know that. And that's okay because if you need help and I can help, or somebody I know can help, it's all good. Yeah, this place is pretty special, and in my opinion, incredible. Even my neighbors don't usually have what I have. And there are so few people, and it's so quiet. And oh, Bernie's here. Hi, Bernie. Bernie, I think about you often. I was praying for you the other day. Well, not that I need to tell you that, but you know what I mean. You're welcome for your answer. So the greenhouse, I'd love to walk you over there too. Do you guys want to see the greenhouse? Um, Next year, so this fall when I come back, if I can get out of here, this fall when I come back, I need to bring the paint and get some more things painted that should have had paint on them for the last 2 years. Okay. And now that the bathroom shower thing is more together, that needs to be painted to match the cabin. So that'll be painting this fall. And then next spring, I'm hoping that it can be the gutters installation, which means the water catchment. And then this should be not so much stuff to do. I mean, I really do have this pretty well together. I'm playing around with stone. Again, I can't. I'll pan you around. Um, I don't. I tried to do this before and I couldn't. Oh, it'll let me this time. See that stone on the other side of the plant pot? That stone up in. Oops, my finger went too far. Okay, I can't make my finger point at it and not block the camera. All right, anyways. But that stone on the other side of that big plant pot is what I've been playing with, trying to make the pathway between the little white gate, which is from where you park to come in the backyard. And then it's the landing pad to kind of come over on the patio. And I'm trying to maneuver a bunch of broken pieces of this white stone that I got and make that kind of a neat a neat look. And of course, I'm a little not autistic but artistic. So I'm trying. Oh, this is still on. Ooh, a bug in my hair. Um anyway, now I can't make it go back the other way, right? Do two fingers like that. Oh, there we go. Okay. Anyway, so that's that. um so yes, Bernie, you are so on my list, girlfriend. You know you're on. Whoops, I hit the wrong thing. Go back over here. Um you are so on my list, Bernie. I know you. And I know you well, and you'll be a little scared of my road, but you'll be fine. We'll be going to an emergency right now. I've been going through a lot. Oh, why do I keep hitting that button? I don't mean to. As long as I didn't block you. Go back to that. Oh, you can't see me hitting all these buttons. Been going through a lot, so your prayers were needed. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. When I think of you guys during the week, and I don't know why I'm thinking about you, but you just pop in my head. I I pray about it. That's how I handle it. Um um so yeah, I think October is Virginia. I think that's right for the Overland East, which makes it late for me. So we would have to do something here. We might have to wait till spring to do something here. Now, something together, no. But here on my property, we probably have to wait till spring. And so it would be after Passover. And I don't mind doing Passover with other people, but I don't, it's usually still a risk of having snow at the cabin right around or within a week after Passover. So we'll consider all of that. But with Virginia being in October, I think that's right. If I want to miss snow here at the cabin, I have to be gone by Thanksgiving. So, well, there's time to do Virginia and get back before Thanksgiving. And then it might be a couple of cool nights, but it's a good time to have fire pits and stuff. Well, we'll think about this a little more. Okay. Uh, because the roads will be better because of the neighbors needing to get the delivery trucks for those pre-made sheds up to their property. That gets people within a quarter of a mile of me on better roads. But it doesn't solve if they're wet and soggy and muddy. And there's still a quarter of a mile of very twisty uh, country road with trees to get to me. That doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just we'll have to see. I have to wait and see how that's going to pan out. But like Shadow Wolf can bring his rig in here. I wouldn't have him bring it in today because over the winter, my neighbors with their new 4-wheel drive pickup and their mud tires, they made ruts. But in a week, those ruts will be filled in because that's what they're working on. Anyways, that's a lot of. Um, so, Miss Bernie, you know, sister, mi hermana, you know. Um, so, I'm also considering, and it's funny how I just realized other people that I know in the overland world, they consider things and then they put them out. And that's how they're getting their sponsorships. Well, I don't know why my brain didn't go that way, but whatever. You know what? I'm low income. I think like I think, and I keep doing whatever. Okay. Who's that? Tiny. Yeah, your schoolie couldn't do it. The Jeep could, but the schoolie couldn't. And I do know where there is some BLM land close to here that you could camp on, but you have to be like super good. And if it was arranged with the Witchwell Church, and the owner of the church is Doug Ball, if you arranged it with him, he would let you camp in the extra parking lot, which is where the Witchwell Farmers Market is. He had told me before if somebody was coming with a large rig that couldn't get up in here and they owned a toad, he would allow them to camp down there to visit me because he knows anybody coming to visit me is a good person and will not be an annoyance. And so that is an option to people who know me well or I know well, but that is not an open invitation to just anybody in the world. So we have to protect those relationships so that we can continue to use them when we need to. So let's see. Um, what else do I want to tell you about? There's been a cat here. While I was sick, I heard this odd meow. And I don't think it's a house cat. I think it's either a bobcat or a mountain lion, but I haven't seen any paw prints. So I'm not 100% sure. And I do know there's some wild house cats, running around that got loose from people years ago. And I know Little Bit that had lived with me is now living with those neighbors a quarter of a mile away. He figured out that they had a comfortable place and the dogs and everything else. And he's come home. They told me he's come back to their house twice with like slobber on his fur as if something had tried to get him twice. And that when he's really scared, he gets on the roof of the RV and sits right on the roof vents and talks through those vent covers, or if it's cracked open, he talks through the roof vent to them. And it's definitely a Little Bit. This is the cat that used to live here, but he has not come here. and that's okay. You know, a little disappointment, but it's okay. I can't expect an animal to be here for months without me. So I drowned the rats. Not me personally. I have bucket traps. This is the way that the natives in this area, prior to any other, you know, in in old times, that was the most reliable source of controlling the rats where you need to live. And so I used to have three I used to have three bucket traps. And so what you do with a bucket trap is it's a 55 gallon, I mean, not a 55, it's a 5 gallon bucket, and you put, you know, about this much water in the bottom, and right at the top of the water line, you put some peanut butter on the wall, and then you put a board across the top, and they will go in after the peanut butter. And then in the morning, I will have to bury bodies. And yes, wise woman, I know you from all the times that you've commented that there's not enough sound on my videos. I do know you, and I will be watching your comments. So uh, I am not viciously harming animals. Rats, and these are pack rats. I think they call them wood pack rats or something like that. They are a very invasive rodent. Um, I'm not trying to catch them and release them. It wouldn't do anybody any good. So, what happens with them is I bury them in the ground. I dig a hole, a shovel deep, a regular shovel deep, and I dump the bodies in and cover them with dirt. Usually that hole does not get dug up, but I have learned over the years that 6 months to a year later, the coyotes will dig that hole up, which is bizarre to me. I don't know why they do it so long afterwards, but that's what seems to happen. Now, most of my neighbors who have bucket traps, they actually they actually take the bodies and throw them out on the ground for the ravens. But ravens can be a problem as well. And I don't like that ravens will get used to being in an area and they will just tear up all kinds of things. They will, ravens are funny. If there's a garbage bag outside, of course, I don't put garbage bags outside, but they will just destroy it hunting for what's inside of it, right? Um, if they can get in your burn barrel, they'll get in the burn barrel. So I don't choose to do that. I don't want. Okay, see you, Shadow Wolf. Yeah, keep your freedom too, man. Um, and so I that's why I do not feed the ravens the rat bodies, which a lot of my neighbors do that, but that's on them. I don't want the ravens around my place because if I did need to have chickens or something, then the ravens will pick off the baby chicks before they can get grown. There's a lot of things that can happen. So um, the the best way, the most humane way I've found, and it's hard to deal with. It's hard to kill anything, but the bucket traps is the most humane. Uh, Rat traps are nasty. Rat traps sometimes snap them in half. That's graphic, I know, but bug. Um, but I don't like having to clean out the traps. You have to then get awful close to their bodies and when it's in the bucket, I don't mind wasting a gallon of water or a couple of gallons of water in order to deal with them. Sometimes if I'm worried about not having enough water here, I will take a shovel or a hoe and lift the bodies out of the water so I can leave the water for a week or something, and then just bury them that way. But I don't even like doing that. But it's a war, and I've been winning the last 12 years. So regular simple green, regular simple green. You can buy it by the gallon in at Home Depot. I used to every fall bring 2 gallons back to the property and leave it here. I used to. I haven't been doing that lately, and so I don't have much here right now. But spring and fall, when the rats move around, I put it in a sprayer, the little half-gallon, 2 quart, whatever it is, garden sprayer from Dollar General. They're about $4, and you pump up the top of it. And I spray the engine and the wiring on a sunny day, and I let it dry. And I spray the undercarriage and everything on the vehicle, and I've never had the wires in my vehicle chewed. So some regular simple green. I don't have enough, or I would go spray that new bathroom down so that because it's the stone floor in there. But so they couldn't be happy. I would do that. I would spray the walls and everything because I haven't painted those walls yet. Um, but what I'm going to do instead is I noticed where they were trying to get in and where they had left some poop. And I'm going to just take a shovel and shovel out around the bottom of the floor so it's an open hole so the air comes through, and so then they won't want to be in there so much. It's uncomfortable if they can't get warm. It's not fun for them, um, to a degree. So but I have to do what I have to do for now. So let's see. um, yeah, yeah. Whoops, I put my finger in the wrong place. Ravens, yeah. Gotta go. I saw that one. Yeah, rats can carry some pretty nasty illnesses. Uh, Whoops, I did it again. Hitting that wrong button because my finger. Okay, that's what. Oh, original flavor, simple green. It's got to be original. The other flavors don't work. I understand they now have a lemon and a lavender, and they don't work. Use the original simple green. It's about $10 a gallon at Home Depot. Again, me and that button. Okay. Well, I wanted to see that last comment that Loretta put out. Of course, at the rate they're going, they might have to release it. Oh, right. There you go. Yeah. So ravens fly over here anyways, but I just don't need them stopping by. Okay. So what else is going on? I don't know, but we've kept the signal pretty good today. I'm 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 pleased with that. And let's see, the title of this I had put out was um yeah, peppermint oil out here, it's a waste of energy. And if you use peppermint leaves or peppermint tea bags or anything else, they will take the peppermint into their nest. They will take the uh what's the soap bars that people used to use? Irish Spring. They will take the Irish Spring soap bars and add them to their nest. So what's the point? Um, you said something about this simple green. Is that undiluted? Um, it you can use it simple green. You can use it half strength will work. but because I don't want any problems, and I just do it full strength. But it works half strength. We tested it half strength on one vehicle and full strength on another vehicle that were just sitting. Um, they were broken down and they weren't going to run again. We wanted to see what would happen. Hi, Bonnie. So that's we tested it, and the neighbor that was testing it was like, yeah, I don't believe it's that, Lesa, I really don't. And he was in shock when 6 months later there still had been no rats inside his broken down Mercedes, actually. So um, yeah, I don't know what else have I got to talk about. So when we finish up, I'll have to go deal with my toilet buckets because I haven't really been slacking, but I need to do that. And being sick. I mean, come on. Um, I usually keep up with my everyday things pretty well, but I wasn't here. And then I decided to change the fencing a little bit. And, right. And, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna, not sure what I'm gonna do later, but besides rest, rest some more because I feel much better today though. Um, Iris, I wouldn't trust Mean Green with the rats because the rats are so destructive. And once I found out it was Simple Green that made the big difference, I'd rather you just buy Simple Green. Yeah, I'm sorry if you have to buy two things, but uh, I think it's really worth it. Oh, is that who's been going in there? I just saw a nice big lizard come out. There's a little wallowed out hole under the edge of one of the stones on the patio because it's right close to where when the rain comes off the roof, it drops and the water has like pulled some of the stuff out. And I wondered what was going in there. I just saw a nice big lizard just climb up. It's probably cool. And he just climbed up in there. So Mr. Lizard, you're going to have to find a new place one day because I'll fill that in. Oh, you didn't stay. Thank you. But the lizards eat the bugs. So, yeah. Oh, thank you, everybody. Yeah, I didn't even notice how many people were here. I am so grateful you all have come. I have no idea who you are, but you know who I am, or you wouldn't be here, or something. And yeah, not really adventurous travel stuff today, but I hope I've given you some content that's been worth something. You've heard a lot about, not feeling good and stuff I'm messing around with. Um, and, I hope you'll be good to each other out there. Uh, and especially any of you that know where I actually live and stuff like that. Y'all be good, be kind. Don't be coming to people's houses when they're not around. Um, let's see. Oh, you did see, I know you saw the hammock here earlier, right here. That's a Wise Owl Outfitters. That cover on my hammock is called a snake skin. And it just is it's a cover so that you can leave your hammock out in the all hung up and leave it out in the weather. And then you don't have to like put it up and down every time the weather's bad. And so that allows me to leave it sitting right there. And then when I want to use it, I just undo one end and pull the thing back. Oh, here I am back again. I wish these messages up on my screen. I don't. Um, Oh, the simple green cover, 40-foot bus in the Jeep. Oh, okay, yeah, Tink, I do have some answers for you. No, you do not have to rinse it off. Just FYI, mechanics have been using simple green to clean engines with for a long time. So you don't need to rinse it off. No, you just do it on a sunny day. Leave the hood open after you do all the spraying. Let everything dry well, and then you close it up, and you don't have to do it until the next season. So twice a year you need to do it, spring and fall. And if you time it with when the rats are starting to move around, you make out really well. Um, uh, how much will a gallon do? A lot, because I used to get 1 gallon every fall, and I would have it here for my fall get together. We would spray about 5 vehicles, half strength. And then in the spring, I would have about half a gallon. Well, I'd have a little bit left in the spring. So I would say we would do maybe about 5 or 6 cars with a gallon. And that's because you can do it half strength will work. But I just You in this case when it's rats involved, I just err on the side of more is better. So so I do full strength on mine just because I can. But it worked half strength. So um but when I was buying it for everybody that came here to visit, it was like I can't afford this, people. So I don't mind because you're not in a rat infested area as much when you're camping as you are if you come to my place. So I'll have it here, but you gotta get on the ground and do it yourself. I'll show you how. I'll help do one car, but then y'all do each other's because it's a lot of work. You know, I mean, I have a tracker, so for me the tracker's not as big, right? But it's gonna drizzle down your arm. You're gonna get nasty. You're gonna want to shower afterwards. So plan your hot water for your shower, right? Before you go in. And so for whenever I can afford to do it, I also need to get my green grass rug. Since I put one, I buy green grass rugs from Home Depot. They come, I think they're 6x8 or 8x10. I think they're 6x8. Anyways, whatever they are. I buy them. They used to be $20 a piece. I don't know what they are now. And they came in a package. They were folded up in a package so the edges weren't didn't unravel on them. And so I brought the one out of the greenhouse out here to the hammock area, and I want to leave it here. And so I need to buy another one to go in the greenhouse, and so that I can put the greenhouse back together. Well, it's not apart. The greenhouse is not apart. But I had thought about tearing it down from materials. And then when I started to, I went, well, I built it too good. I'm not doing this. So I bought a couple of plants to put in there, and I have a water barrel just for there, but the neighbor hasn't been able to bring me water for that. And I don't have a gutter on there yet. So it's all kind of like fluffy right now that I need to put the green grass rug back in because it just makes it so nice. And then when whoever does get to come here for camping, then even if it rains or something or there's bad weather, it was really nice to put like 4 chairs and a little table and play cards in there in the greenhouse. It was great. And now that we have the bathroom room as well. All of this is going to just make this much more comfortable to be here. So when there's a crowd, there's more than one place to sit and hang out, and more than one place in the shade, and that's what it's all about. And I don't know what else right now. Um, hey, we went an hour. We went over an hour. Do we have more questions? 18 people. I love having your thumbs up. I hope that you're becoming members of the group. of the channel, because as you become members, where you're going to start to get more everyday information from me. Like this week, I told people exactly where I was. I told them what happened to the car, and I told them I was sick. And I would have sent more messages, but I just couldn't. I was having struggling with my signal. So sometimes, if you're a member, you also get special badges beside your name chat, in the chats out here, and we will be having members only chats in the future. So so that will be coming up. Uh, don't forget, I have super thanks, super chats. Okay, I was gone for a minute. So, anytime you guys give me donations, it often just goes toward equipment or the trips. Um, let's see. I still have my Amazon wish list out there in the world. I just learned through somebody else's channel that there's a new feature on the wish list, but I haven't figured out how to use it for mine, because it will allow you to make a project wish list. And that way I could do things like, um, this is the wish list for the cabin, and this is the wish list for my trip to Virginia, and this is a wish list for everyday life, which happens to be more of that carne seca. Anybody that wants to help that way, whew, that would have been nice to have had more of that in the cupboard. I'll be honest. Um, uh, and so I don't know how to do that part yet. We lost my website for a minute, but it's back up. And there's evidently Google is making money off of my blog spot, but somehow there's a link broken and I'm not getting anything. So we'll figure it out. And let's see, but I'm doing okay financially right now. I'm annoyed that I'm still paying on a loan, but it's sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So, um, and what else? What else can I tell you? Let's see. Don't forget, I love the Insta Privy. I'm part of their family. Paul and his wife, I think her name's Sheila. Please forgive me if I get it wrong. Love them. Love Dags with the iDome family. I'm not a part of the iDome family yet, but I love that thing. And when you guys get a chance to see that iDome shelter, that's sweet. I'm not a part of the McLean. No, let me rephrase that. I'm not a part of the Adventure Hammock Systems family either. And if I don't become one in the next couple of expos, then I will probably send off to China and get the other hitch mounted hammock stand. Y'all have seen that in a short. That's a beautiful piece of gear that will really be nice on my tracker. Um, I would like, really, really would like to drive the Pan American Highway. Yes, seriously. That's a long freaking ass trip. And I'm going to need somebody to go with me. So this is an adventure where I will need somebody who's mechanically inclined and can handle my health issues. I believe that's the way I'm going to have to set up the expedition team, because I'm feeling like I don't want to do that trip alone. I wish, well, I don't know if we're going to manifest this or not. I kind of wish Skipper Doodle would come back from the Philippines and do that trip with me. Um, I think he would be so much fun to do that trip with, especially since he's mechanically minded and he loves cars, and and he loves my tracker. I mean, he could get a second tracker and do the trip with me. That would be so cool. I don't know. Let's. I don't know. And Skipper Doodle's been talking to me off and on. He wants me to come to the Philippines to hang with him for a minute. That would be cool, but I don't see it yet, but I don't not see it. So I have not put those things out in the world asking for people yet, but I would love to drive the Pan American Highway. What that means is my tracker has to be in really, really good shape and not have any major issues coming up. And I would have to drive north through Alaska to Prudhoe Bay, which is the Arctic Circle, and then turn around and come back. And when I say come back and drive the Pan American Highway all the way through the United States, through Alaska, the United States, down through Mexico, through, I think you go into Honduras and Guatemala and into Nicaragua and Costa Rica. I would say hi to friends and go visit the family in the indigenous in Rey Corre. And then, um, and then into Panama, and then from Panama, I would have to port the tracker across the Panama Canal and the Darien Gap, and because I don't want to do the land crossing through the Darien Gap. I'm adventurous, but not that much. I don't have this I don't have the vehicle and the skill and the knowledge or the money or anything else to do that. Thank you that Patty Lipton and her husband did that, and I was able to see her slideshow and watch. Okay, I'm back. Not staying back for long, but so you would port through the Darien Gap into Colombia, and then you would drive to Argentina. That would be an epic thing. Now, of course, being who I am, I would help people along the way because you can't not help people. It's the way life is. So I don't know. It's what we would do. I'm so grateful that Tiny made the announcement about the guy who had accidentally gotten his engine too wet, and they were able to find somebody who, what was the guy's name? Desert Rat Services or something, was able to go assist the guy with his minivan, and they're working on getting him running so he can then be back on the road. I think he learned his lesson about getting the minivan a little too much in the water. Um, but so grateful that they found somebody that could go help. And I'm going to let y'all go. I think this has been long enough today. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, for you showing up here, giving me a focus, giving me um, personal interaction with other people when I'm by myself in these situations. Thank you for being interested and having questions and being a part of our little community. um, Pray for each other. Do live your best you. um, if you're able to live what you believe, I don't know, I can't think of little things. I had some things I was saying as a closing before and they're just like gone. No. um, Keep living simply so you can travel light and often, and so you can learn how to do like I do. Just simply keep trying, keep moving forward, even if it's in slow motion. Use turtle steps and build your adventures. And if your adventure, it can be anything. Your adventure could be just sitting outside like I am. Some people don't do that, right? And if your adventure is to just go sit outside one afternoon, just do it. Just find a way. Find a way. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can be as sick as I get sometimes and nearly paralyzed, and then I can get up and go, drive to Baja and back, believe me, you can do something. So do your little something, whatever it is, And your little something added to your next little something becomes bigger adventures. That's what mine are. Mine are, hey, I got up today. Okay. Hey, I turned on the camera and it actually worked. Right? So we just keep trying. And all those little attempts, they add up. And before you know it, you've had a big adventure. And when it does come time for me to pass, which I don't think is yet, I think I'll be pretty old. But when it does come time, at least I lived life. I didn't sit in an apartment somewhere waiting to die, watching TV and waiting to die. I didn't do that. I don't want to do that. So, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Be good to each other. Enjoy your life. Ciao.